Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to my channel, and today's topic is human female reproductive system. It is the extreme engineering of God. It is one of the complicated system in comparison to that of male, as it produces gametes within the body from its ovary, fuses it in the fallopian tube by the process of fertilization, and the fertilized egg passed to that of uterus where gestation period is completed, and after that by the process of parturition it is given birth the young one, and after birth the young one is nourished by the mother and parental care takes place. So it is one of the complicated system in comparison to that of male. Like that of male reproductive system, it is also formed of primary sex organ, secondary sex organ and accessory glands. The primary sex organ is cytogenic and endocrine in nature. It is mesodermal in origin. As cytogenic, it produces the gametic cells, and as endocrine, it secretes the sex hormone, progesterone, estrogen and relaxin. The secondary sex organ that present in female reproductive systems, they are neither produces gametes nor secretes any sex hormone, but it has a significant role in the process of reproduction. So all the ductules that present in female reproductive system, they are the secondary sex organs. And the accessory glands, the glands associated in the process of reproduction, they are called as accessory glands. The accessory glands present in it, a pair of mammary gland and Bartholin glands. First of all, the primary sex organ, a pair of ovary. As you know, gonads are mesodermal in origin and it is cytogenic and endocrine in nature. A pair of small almond shaped ovary present on either side of uterus as well as on either side of vertebral column of a female in the lower abdominal cavity. Ovary produces ova and secretes sex hormone. Histologically, ovary get attached with that uterus by a ligament called as ovarian ligament and supported by broad ligament. There is a hilus present in the ovary which receives that blood vessels and nerves into the interior of ovary. So each ovary is externally bounded by a membrane called as peritoneum. Below that peritoneum, germinal epithelium is present. Below the germinal epithelium, a layer of tunica albuginea present. Below that tunica albuginea, the interior of ovary is called as stroma, which contains blood vessels, nerve cells and various developmental stages of ova. The germinal epithelium undergo repeated mitotic division to produce huge number of oogonia, the egg mother cell. It undergo repeated mitotic division to produce huge number of oogonia. Out of that huge number of oogonia, some oogonium get enlarged 7 times to become the primary oocyte. During birth of a female child, its ovary contains about 2 lakh of primary oocytes. Later on, up to puberty, it has reduced to 60,000 to 80,000. primary oocytes and others get degenerated by a process called as follicular atresia. The primary oocyte, when covered by a membrane of granulosa cells, it is called as primary follicle. That granulosa layer multiply into several layers. Then the structure is called as secondary follicle. First, primary oocyte, it is converted into primary follicle when it is covered by a layer of granulosa cells. Then secondary follicle, that secondary follicle covered by several layers. Then it get converted into tertiary follicle. When it contains a central cavity within it, it is termed as tertiary follicle. That cavity is called as antrum and filled with a fluid called as liquor folliculi. Then the tertiary follicle get enlarged and become matured. It is called as Graafian follicle. It is termed as Graafian follicle. It is the matured follicle, it is the enlarged follicle, and that Graafian follicle is named after Ranger de Graaf. Hence it is called as Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle encloses that secondary oocyte. If the structure of that Graafian follicle we observe, then externally it is covered by a membrane called as theca externa. The external layer is called theca externa. That theca externa, on its below another layer is present, is called as theca interna. That layer present below the theca externa is called as theca interna. So this is theca externa. Below it another layer present called as theca interna. It is believed that theca interna secretes the hormone estrogen, and below that theca interna another layer of granulosa cells present called as membrane granulosa. So this layer is called as membrane granulosa. That membrane granulosa encloses a cavity. That cavity is called as antrum, and it contains a fluid called as liquor folliculi. The membrane granulosa projects towards the antrum to form a bulging structure that is called as discus proligerus. That discus proligerus arises from the base of membrane granulosa, that is called as germ heel. And discus proligerus encloses the secondary oocyte. It encloses the secondary oocyte, which is externally covered by a membrane called zona pellucida. So this is zona pellucida. And above that zona pellucida a layer of radiating cells present. They are called as corona radiata. So this is all about the structure of that Graafian follicle which was discovered by Ranger de Graaf. As it encloses the secondary oocyte at the time of ovulation, it releases that secondary oocyte by rupturing the wall of ovary into the fallopian tube for the process of fertilization. So after release of that secondary oocyte, the remaining follicular masses, they get converted into an yellowish structure that is called as corpus luteum. It is a temporary endocrine gland and secretes very small amount of estrogen, large amount of progesterone and relaxin. If fertilization occurs, then the corpus luteum persists and secretes that progesterone to maintain the pregnancy. If fertilization will not occur here, then the corpus luteum get degenerated. That corpus luteum get degenerated into corpus albicans. It is degenerated and get converted into corpus albicans. Students, it is one of the important difference between which will come in the council exam, that difference between corpus luteum and corpus albicans. So corpus luteum is a temporary endocrine gland that formed after release of that secondary oocyte from Graafian follicle, but corpus albicans is the degenerated corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is an endocrine gland and secretes hormone, but corpus albicans is non-endocrine in nature. Corpus luteum is yellow in color and corpus albicans is white in color. Corpus luteum is formed by luteal cells and corpus albicans is formed of scar tissue. So these are the major differences between that corpus luteum and corpus albicans. So this is all about that primary sex organ of female, that is a pair of ovary. Then the next one is a pair of oviduct. A pair of oviduct. Students, oviduct is otherwise called as fallopian tube or Mullerian duct. So oviduct is otherwise called as fallopian tube or Mullerian duct. Here this is oviduct. So oviduct is a pair of tube that arises from the upper part of uterus, extend towards the ovary. It is divided into three regions. The part of oviduct that arises from upper part of uterus, that thick narrow part of the fallopian tube is called as isthmus. Here it is mentioned isthmus. The middle wider part is called as ampulla, and the part that extends towards the ovary, it is called as infundibulum. The infundibulum contains numerous finger-like projections. These are called as fimbri. These finger-like projections contains an opening at its middle, that is called as ostium, through which the ruptured ovary releases that secondary oocyte and fimbri help to catch that secondary oocyte and through the ostium it enter into the fallopian tube. Internally, the fallopian tube is lined with ciliated epithelial cells. As you have already known that sperm is motile due to presence of that tail, but egg is non-motile. It lacks that locomotory organ. So, for its movement, these ciliated epithelial cells sweep that egg towards the ampulla where fertilization takes place. So, this is all about that oviduct. Then, the next important part of the female reproductive system is uterus. Next structure is uterus, and the plural is uteri. A single hollow, thick, highly muscular, inverted pear-shaped structure that present in the lower abdominal cavity of female called as uterine cavity or uterus. The anterior dome-shaped part of uterus is called as fundus. The middle wider part is called as corpus, and the lower constricted part is called as cervix. The wall of uterus formed of 3 layers. The outer layer is called as perimetrium. It is a peritoneal membrane. And the middle muscular layer formed of smooth muscles, it is called as myometrium. And the inner glandular thickened layer where implantation takes place, it is endometrium. The uterus is otherwise called as hysteria. So, the surgical removal of uterus is called as hysterectomy. It is also otherwise called as mother's womb, as gestation period completed within this uterine cavity. So, mother carry that fertilized egg up to parturition within that uterine cavity and complete the gestation period. There is an opening present in between that corpus and cervix is called as internal OS, and another opening in between that cervix and vagina called as external OS. So, this is all about that uterus. Then the next structure is vagina. It is a 10 centimeter long oblique tube running up and downward in between that urinary bladder and rectum, finally open into external genitalia by an opening called as vaginal orifice. The vaginal orifice is covered by a membrane partially, as it allows the flow of that menstrual blood. That hymen may rupture nowadays due to strenuous physical exercises like horse riding or cycling. So, vagina serves as the copulatory chamber of female. It is the birth canal through which, after complete of gestation period, the baby ejects out. So, this is all about that vagina. Then, the external genitalia. Next structure is external genitalia. The external genitalia is collectively called as vulva, and it contains structures like, first of all, mons pubis. First of all, mons pubis. It is an elevated fatty area lies just above the external genitalia covered with pubic hair, that is called as mons pubis, and persist throughout the life. Second one is labia majora. It is a thick fatty fold of skin that covers the entire external genitalia. It contains numerous sebaceous glands and it contains pubic hairs, persist throughout the life. It can be homologous to that of male's scrotum. Then the third one is labia minora. Labia minora is another thick fold of skin that lies below the labia majora, but it is devoid of that pubic hairs, but it is also contains numerous sebaceous glands. The cavity enclosed by that labia minora is called as vestibule. Towards the anterior, just below the mons pubis, an erectile organ is present, erectile structure is present, that is called as clitoris. Just below the clitoris, and that clitoris is homologous to that of male's glans penis. Below the clitoris, there is a small opening present for discharge of urine, that is called as urethral orifice, which contains a gland, lesser vestibular gland is present around its opening. And just below it, at the center, a slit-like opening is present, that is called as vaginal orifice. As I have already described earlier, it is covered by a membrane called as hymen, but due to strenuous physical exercises, this hymen get ruptured, like that of cycling and horse riding. Then the two labia minora fused together to form a thick fold of skin that is called as fourchette, and in between that fourchette and anus there is a external demarcation present which is called as perineum. So this is all about that external genitalia. So towards the exterior, labia majora is present, labia majora, which encloses the entire external genitalia, and the upper part is called as fatty area, it is called as mons pubis, and that labia majora is covered by pubic hairs, and below that labia majora, labia minora is present, and here an erectile organ that is called as clitoris, a small opening urethral orifice, a slit-like opening present called as vaginal orifice covered by hymen. It is fourchette, and in between that anus and fourchette there is a demarcation that is called as perineum. So this is all about the structure of that external genitalia.